So thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Welcome to our Friday feedback thing. Essentially, if you've never joined us before, we just sit here and we kind of catch up, and that's it.
Cool.
So let's kick it off. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and about CoMerchant?
Okay. My name is Barbara Boshin, and I've been selling online since the mid 2000s and on Amazon since 2009. Roughly about 4 years ago, I was suspended on Amazon, which I still do, knock on wood. But it was a huge good thing that happened because it really woke me up to why you need to diversify, why you have to be involved on different channels, different models. I mean, I was 100% RA. I had 15 shoppers. I had no idea how risky all that was because Amazon could just shut you down for a counterfeit pocketbook or a condition error. And so with that, we decided to do some diversification. We changed all our products to wholesale. It took about a year, but we got there. We went beyond that into private label, exclusive custom. And one of the biggest things we did was we started selling on other channels. So CoMerchant was born, and it helps people relist their products from Amazon to Jet, Walmart, and coming soon eBay, so that they can de their portfolio.
Beautiful. So it's always nice when it's a seller behind it, because you always seem to understand more. It definitely makes a lot more sense that way. So you've been selling for a very long time. What are you selling?
In the online world, right?
Yeah.
In online dog years. I sell mostly beauty and some toys. We do a lot of toys, a lot of beauty, and household. I like to think of it as stuff girls like.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what'd you get suspended for?
I sold, let's see, I don't think I really understood the way that Amazon, like all the ins and outs.
Yeah.
So one of the things I had was a counterfeit purse that I got at TJ Maxx that wasn't counterfeit, but they basically, somebody got to keep their purse. And and Amazon said, well, it's no problem. We can't accept your receipts. I didn't realize I was supposed to really fight to get them to take them. I said, oh, okay. No, I can't sell that ASIN anymore. No problem. There's thousands of ASINs, millions of ASINs. And then there was another incident with a condition error. Someone complained about a seal being broken. And then finally, I was selling counterfeit soap because we were, I was in my basement stirring a big pot of soap, and my 2 little kids on the printer making the packaging. It was just a return, and they didn't want to pay for it. So 1, 2, 3, boom, I was done. But within 48 hours, I was unsuspended. But what really got me was that it took them 3 weeks to read the email. Once they read it, because you could tell they didn't read it, it was like auto response. Once they read it, I was back on. But I was like, it takes you 3 weeks. Like the right hand and the left hand aren't really connecting here, and I'm paying the price. And that's when I really said, that's it.
Yeah.
I gotta change it up a little bit.
Yeah, we see that unfortunately Amazon is very consumer friendly, and they do almost everything they possibly can for the consumer, and they always make sure that everyone's happy. But when it comes to the seller, they could care less. At least most of the time, it feels that way.
I think that there's a lot of people that try really, really hard, but they're one guy in one place, or and then some people are just Amazon's like any other big company. They have KPIs. So everything is a key performance indicator, and they're starting to make us adhere to key performance indicators. So how many calls you answer, how many cases you close, how many pieces you process. I mean, I don't know how much inbound shipping I get a complaint on because it wasn't stickered. I'm like, really? Everything's stickered. And then they go and they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. And I'm like, somebody's KPI is to have so many not stickered items identified. And that's got to be what their thing is. Because why would they? I mean, everything's stickered. It's ridiculous. Like one thing, but an entire case. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah. Nice. So can you tell me a little bit more about Merchant Words and how you guys work?
Oh, co-merchant.
Co-merchant? Sorry. I read your email, Merchant Minds, and I keep confusing the two of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, we actually have a holding company that sits. Co-merchant is the software that does the relisting. And Merchant Minds, we do some coaching and some Amazon account analysis from time to time. Nothing big, but it sort of sits on top. Oh, geez. Hi, Kelly Loach. I guess he watches. All right, you're gonna pay for that. And so we do a lot of things. So Merchant Minds is the parent company that sits over top of co-merchant.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. And it's a simple program. We try to make, because we're sellers, we try to make it really easy to help other people sell. So we want to eliminate the tedium. We're already doing enough work for Amazon. I don't want to have to do the same work again for Jet and Walmart.
Okay. So when do you think eBay is going to open up for you guys?
Well, I think it's going to be open in the fall, but if I say that in front of the development team, they make a face, so we don't. We don't have a date. By the time I go to ECOMMERCE Chicago, I want to be able to announce it.
Yeah. Okay. So
I can always say beta.
Yeah, there you go. There's always the beta version, which is your way of just releasing it and saying like it should work. So you got suspended off Amazon. Obviously, you got reenlisted on Amazon, but decided you wanted to diversify. Where was the first place you went? Was it Walmart? Was it, I guess it's been a while. It's probably not Jet.
I had started on eBay, so eBay was back up in 3 seconds. So
there you go.
The moment I could connect the systems, I had everything listed on there that I could. It was kind of good. Once I contact Cynthia Stein, got me reinstated. Once she said, "Listen, you didn't do any. It's not a big deal. We'll get you reinstated. Just take some time." So I was like, "All right." So I'm going to trust in that, and I'm going to start building a plan. I was in corporate America for 20 plus years, and I was in strategy and finance. So that's what we did was plans. So I'm going to build a plan, and that plan is going to look like the marketplaces. That plan is going to look like wholesale and differentiation among my products from other people. Because one of the things I didn't like in RA, and I liked even less in wholesale, was how much I'm competing against other people. And there should be, I'm pretty creative. There should be a way not to have to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we went.
Oh man, I had my backup question. I was not ready for that. You threw me off with that answer. Backtrack. So, how long has co-merchant been around?
We did launch Jet a year ago, August, so 2 years. We were in development about 8 months before that, so close to 3 years.
Okay. How do you see how the industry has changed since you guys started 3 years ago?
I think a lot. I think when we first started, Jet was really interesting to people, and they really didn't know about it. And Walmart was really interesting to people. And I think there's the interest level in diversifying. Obviously it's what I talk about all the time, so that could skew it. But I think the interest level as Amazon tightens the warehouse rules and increases their fees and gets stricter on the brands and what you can sell and when you can sell it. I've seen the interest go up a lot in finding other ways to maintain your business, grow your business, think outside the box. I just think a lot more people are becoming more and more aware. A couple of years ago, Amazon would say, "I don't need anything else. I got Amazon." But I think a lot of other people are like, okay. Where they used to listen politely to me about me being suspended and expanding, now there's like, tell me more. What can I do? Like, how can I get this apart? What should I be thinking about?
Yeah. Yeah. For a while there, sellers were like, like you must have been doing something really wrong to get suspended. And I know, so it's 2018. So end of 2016, a lot of people just got suspended like over the holidays and everyone freaked out. And now people are realizing like, it's not always you did something wrong. In some cases, it's just someone hit a wrong button in some cases, and now you're stuck. And like you said, it could take weeks for you to get reinstated for someone making a simple error. And in some cases,
some things are just capricious, like you changed your credit card.
Exactly. Actually, I worked with someone who got suspended for that exact reason. They did nothing but change their credit card, and they claimed that you're selling on multiple platforms, or not multiple platforms. You're selling under multiple names and blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no, like I'm not. I just changed my credit card.
Yeah. And it's so robotic, and it's like, I understand with the volume, but it's so robotic and it's so hard. It's like some things go wrong there, and I'm like, I'm not touching it. It can just be, we won't sell that anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. Just move on. Just move on. I'm not going to pay attention to, you know, whatever it is, because I know the change I have to make will just be like a red flag. So.
Yeah. And we see these sellers all the time who will do, you know, they're almost 100% of their business comes from Amazon. And, you know, they're going back and forth. They're like scrappy little Amazon sellers are like, maybe if I tweak this word just a little bit, it'll increase my conversion rate by 5%. I'm like, yeah, but you could be selling on Walmart or eBay and come close to doubling your business. Why are you focusing on this one character when you could be doing all this other stuff? So it is very interesting, the people who just get solely stuck on Amazon. I remembered what I wanted to ask you. So Walmart, I'm sure you saw, changed their homepage recently, and is doing what we see as a very large rebranding on their, not necessarily rebranding, but a rebuild of their site to really cater towards the consumer and making it a little bit easier to use. Have you started to play with the new layout that they have at all?
What I've been doing lately is playing with the keywording, because I'm trying to understand. It's a lot different than Amazon's keywording. So I've been doing a lot of work with that. I looked at that, I think, but to go back to your question, not to ignore it, I think what Walmart is doing in general is upgrading everything. So like, I know, like, think about 3-4 years ago, if you talk to a vendor, they're like, no, I don't want to be on Amazon. Ew. You know, and now a lot of them that I talk to don't want Amazon sellers per se because of the brand and the price, but they can't ignore it. They're like, okay, this is a good place to put my brand. This is a good place to build out some customers and do some, you know, brand registration. But now everybody's going, ew, Walmart, you know, so the old ew Amazon is now ew Walmart. And I think that they're doing a lot of rebranding of the stores in general. I know they've done a lot of super Walmarts, and they're upgrading a lot of, you know, like the house brand was always kind of they're upgrading that. They're doing a lot of stuff to scale up and make themselves be you know, a lot closer to Target offline and a lot closer to Amazon online.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think we're a good 3 to 5 years from Walmart being pretty close, if not right up there with about where Amazon is, because I think Amazon's going to get a little too big for their sellers, and they're going to start to shoo away some of the sellers, especially as they start to gobble up all these other brands. So the sellers are going to start to diversify, and Walmart is making all these changes. Walmart's doing all this stuff. And so I think that sellers will start to just immediately go to Walmart at least first. And I think it's really going to help bring Walmart up. And I think we're going to start to see a big leveling of all these platforms. I think there's only going to be a handful of marketplaces, but I think they're all going to level out eventually.
And the only thing I do see that, like, because one of the things, like, when I talk that I say, I agree with you wholeheartedly. The only thing that's a little different for me is that one of the things I always ask whenever I speak is, who thinks the listings on Amazon are good by and large? And most of the time everybody laughs because most of the listings on Amazon are horrible. You know, it's a tiny picture, it's a blurry picture. It does have a white background, but there's not a lot of information. So we're looking to buy, I think we bought a percolator coffee pot because we wanted to change away from the drip. And there was so little information. I had to actually go to the brand site and look. It's like, is this gonna, you know, am I gonna be able to keep it warm? What is the features? And it was just so vague. And I was actually a little sketched out because, is this a real one? Is this counterfeit? So, you know, they've got to figure that stuff out too.
Yeah.
And, you know, and a lot of the niche sites, like all the beauty sites and everything, their product offerings in there are so much deeper and richer and just better. So I'm not going to count out some of the specialty sites quite yet. Because a lot of them are actually opening. I can't figure out, I heard Target was opening third party, but I still have yet to find that.
I haven't seen that either.
House, which is all like household goods, it takes 8 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that to get your products approved, which is crazy. But but they're all about like, if you want to see like how a room is designed, they have all these pictures on like, okay, let's say you want to do your basement over, you can go look at different ways that basements are done, and you know, it's real girly, but like Pinterest, but
yeah. We yeah, so we've noticed the same thing about these empty listings, basically. So what we realized is the really big sellers, like these big guys that are just, you know, you can't catch them, so your goal is to just get like just below them. Their listings are ugly. Like there's no bullet points, aren't filled out, product description's empty. They have one, maybe two images, and they're blurry or pixelated, and you can't read them.
yeah.
And we've learned that it's because they have such large brands off Amazon that they're not competing for a keyword. So let's say you were searching for the percolator, like they're not competing for the word coffee percolator. They're competing just for their brand name. They don't care if they're like, oh, I'll throw my stuff up on Amazon and we'll do fine, which is why all these small sellers think that they can do the same thing. But in reality, they're not focusing on their brand off Amazon. But then you have the same problem like you have, where you're like, you go to this listing and there's like no branding on it and there's no information. You're like, is this counterfeit? Like, is this even really their product? So like we try to focus on like the whole branding aspect of everything, just because of that same issue of just worrying that it looks fake. It's like when my wife does this thing all the time where we go out to eat, and instead of going to the restaurant to just figure out if it's going to eat, she'll go to their social media and decide if they're even worth going to. And if they haven't posted in a while or their pictures are bad, she goes, I don't want to go there. Like, that place looks bad. And it's the same concept for when she's shopping. If they have bad social, or if their branding is bad, or if their site is even like a little bit hard for her to use, she's like, I just don't trust it. I'm just going to buy it on Amazon. Yeah. And I'm like, it's, you know, it's amazing how things like that can really affect the purchaser's decision.
Yeah, and I mean, and little guys, like little companies can do so well on Amazon or on Walmart or whatever, just by putting forth effort, right? All the pictures, the keyword's important. And a lot of times, like, you know how they tell you how to find a private label product? They say, go look at the keywords and see what's not, where there's space and where there's opening. Even sometimes where there's a lot of people, when you go look at listings, you're like, you know, they're doing such a bad job that only even a half good job would be great. You know, I can do really well here. So it's, to me, there's like so much more room in the whole space. And, you know, we all, like, I've been selling for a while. It's like, we feel so mature in this, oh, we've been online sellers for 10 years. But, you know, like in reality, in 10 years, we're going to be like, do you remember when you could just do a crappy listing and stuff sold anyway? You know, like, we're looking back like, how do we ever get away with that crap? Like, how do we ever get away with not like name, rank, and serial number on practically everything?
Exactly. Well, a lot of these first movers, you know, they've just owned their ranking, so they're like, oh, I'll just throw a product up and it'll still work. Like, why isn't this working? Like, because it doesn't work like that anymore. Like, Amazon changes their stuff. Like, it's not that easy.
No, even like the RA sellers have to work hard now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's amazing. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate you joining me on this. I would love for you to give your closing statement, if you will, and tell everyone a little bit about COMMERCE and where they can find you guys, and we'll wrap it up. Okay,
great. Well, first off, the website is www.commerchant.com. Do we even say www anymore? I don't even know.
We can.
Okay, we did. So
sure.
There we go. And we'd love to help you. If anybody has applied to Walmart and Jet, they're notorious for like really poor communication. If you want me to check whether you've been approved or what the status is, a lot of times we've noticed when I go talk to our contacts at Jet and Walmart, all of a sudden you get approved because it's sort of like, hey, where's this guy? Like, oh, yeah, he's in review. And then a day later you get approved because it's just sort of stuck in somebody's pile, and my guy will help ferret it out. So if there's anybody who's sort of applied and he's like, I didn't hear anything, you can email me, Barbara@commerchant.com. I will ask our guy and our girl what the status is on either one and help you at least know where you stand, because they have a tendency not to tell you got denied or you're in review, or it got lost in the mail. All right,
Barbara, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, you have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a good one. You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.